And now, your News 13 Skywatch weather.
All right, we do have some bigger changes coming, no doubt. We're watching it closely for you, and we will get better information with newer model data coming in later this evening as this storm approaches and the weekend unfolds. Let's get you outside first and foremost, though, with our Hunter Subaru Skycam network, and nothing to worry about at this point. We have clouds and some chilly air. Yes, in the high elevations, you'll probably see some snow fall later this evening in the southern mountains above 3,500 feet. Could coat the ground briefly, but I'm not expecting a big deal out of it, but there could be some light accumulation. Don't expect it though in the valleys. We're looking okay. Maybe a little bit of wet snow mixed in briefly and then rain this evening for some of our southern valleys and farther west. Temperatures are in the 40s. We're well above freezing right now. It's the weekend that things will get more dicey. Saturday through Monday, we do have the weather warn days continuing. What we know now is the trend is toward more ice and actually even rain. That's right, rain is also now in the equation, and I'll show you that in just a second. Still time to change. Obviously, I mentioned those short-term models will be coming in and grabbing onto the system now that it's within about 96 hours or less from starting. Oh, so let's take you first and foremost on Futurecast. This looks very impressive, and above 3,500 feet, yeah, there's snow over the Balsams, the Smokies, the Nantahalas, and maybe close to Cashers and Highlands, but that's early on this evening. Look how things will wind down quickly, and if it goes east, that moisture does change to rain because it's coming down into the upstate and lower elevations where it's warmer. So you're not under a threat for any snow down in the upstate tonight early on. And again, the snow will be very minor. That does stick to the ground higher up. And then everything is just about clearing. In fact, tomorrow we'll get into the sun and get us into the 50s in a lot of cases tomorrow afternoon. This is the warm before the storm, if you will. We'll call it warm because 50s aren't too bad for this time of the year. Clouds increase Friday. This is nothing in terms of significance for the winter event. This is just some rain that might scoot across the 85 corridor later in the afternoon on Friday. Let's talk about the wintry weather scenarios, highly dependent on the storm track. An area of low pressure from the Gulf, if it swings more inland, and that's where more of the energy goes, it would really make this a quick mix to rain for our region of the Western Carolinas and many more in the Tennessee Valley. Icier track is an inland storm, but south that still pulls enough colder air down and creates more of the icing scenario. A snowier track would be if this stayed well south and then emerged over the Atlantic. It would still bring a lot of cold with it, and that would lock it in and keep most of this as snow. We think either one or two, the green line or the pink line, is going to be the solution. So we're talking about the possibility of more rain now than before. There's that moisture creeping in on Saturday, probably arrives later in the day Saturday for most of us. It may be briefly some snow, but you got to be north of I-40 if you want significant snow, folks, and you may have to be well north of I-40 at some point. So this is all a icy mix that you see in pink. It could be sleet, it could be freezing rain, combination of the two, and that's our biggest concern, obviously icing on power lines. But look at the warmer nose getting pushed all the way up here into Southwest Virginia later in the day on Sunday. That could really change ice to rain and limit icing in a lot of cases. Let's hope that's the case because we do not want significant ice. That would cripple a lot of things in terms of the travel and the power grid. All right, probability of at least 2 inches of snow. At this point, again, the probability is still there. We could get some places 2 inches or more. You want 4 inches or more. I don't think it's in the cards. I think the chances right now are very low for that and a lot of mixing. So wintry mix because of that. We got a weather warn day Saturday and Sunday. Notice these temperatures will likely get to freezing or warmer those 2 days, and that helps tremendously. But the problem is at night we go way below freezing, so we have more refreezing of moisture, and some of the ice may not melt, of course, if you're in a shaded area. The coldest morning, Tuesday morning, we may start out at 6.